Hello everyone! Welcome back to the RationalInvestor.com's Daily Brief Recap! This is our show for Monday morning. It is, where are we here? It is the 6th of January. So we're marching our way through January barometer. And let me just make sure I have all these things done correctly because I often screw this up. YouTube, are you working? You are a barometer. Yeah, you are. Good. And we've got the first 2 weeks of the quarter also being reported. So we're watching sector rotation. Where are the big money managers putting their money to work to start off 2020? Goodness. It's weird. It's going to be weird to say that. It's going to take a little while, but anyway. And also, too, we've got a whole bunch of crazy price action here around what do we like to follow the January barometer to see how the price action through January often tells us what the rest of the year is going to look like. And oh boy, why does it not surprise me that this is up and down like a whore's drawers? We already have the first day of January printed, and we're already started getting a bit of a roadmap. A big up to start, then waffle, pull back, then sideways for a very long period of time, then surge into the end of the year. And I got a funny feeling that's probably what we're going to see. As the first week sort of goes, up out of the gate, back and forth, waffle, then we're going to probably have some sort of dump here. Remember those S&P put options? I've been kicking my pants about getting in and buying those insurance policies back. Then a whole bunch of sort of sideways for quite a while with a little FU move lower, probably Ides of March kind of thing. Seasonal rally into May, June. Then, your very normal seasonal pullback, June, early July. And then set a base and then into the political event this fall. My hunch is, we talked lots about it in the Broiler Chicken show yesterday. We're setting up very similarly to the way the Japanese market topped out in the late 80s. And that actually also aligns with crazy astrological events, Jupiter-Saturn cross, Saturn-Pluto cross. And funny eclipses, 1965 references, a whole bunch of fun astrological stuff that sort of paints that we're probably near the very end of this bull market here in the U.S. And that sort of previous, almost like 20th century thinking about monetary policy. So get ready, folks. This is a big year. And I think I even put tweets out to the effect recently that, oh boy, there's some big stuff coming here. And it's interesting how this big Jupiter-Saturn cross actually is supposed to happen right around when the market usually goes absolutely insane there at the end of October. And of course, we got the big U.S. election early November. So, oh boy, it's going to be a crazy year, everybody. But that's looking down the road. Let's take a look at what's going on here just in the short term today. U.S. dollar index, probably a good place to start all of our conversations. We've talked quite a bit over the past few months about wide trading range, gaps to the upside, gaps to the downside. I'm actually a little surprised at how just sort of straight line this move has been, straight down to the downside, getting ready to fill in gaps here. And we've been talking a little bit about Canadian dollar. Euro actually put in a double bottom, which kind of surprised me a little bit. But nonetheless, as the U.S. dollar sort of tries to figure out where its bottom is, we're probably going to see those international currencies outperform. Risk on, risk off. It is the beginning of the new year. We're still sort of seeing what the temperament of the stock market is. As we had sort of pointed out, January barometers, watching that closely, and the prediction is that we're actually going to finish the year strong, and I still think that way. But over the short term, oh boy, do we ever have a lot of stuff going on here. Speaking of stuff, clearly this Mideast situation is ratcheted up. It's interesting how the oil, though, still has not broken out through the top here. We just went and took out the Saudi Arabia drone attack highs. And I was postulating, looking at open interest and stuff like that, especially with the S&P 500. Was there some finessing going around here in the market? I haven't really looked at the oil options in particular, but I bet you there was some interesting data there. Still pointing up, and actually what we did, we talked about this in the daily brief today. There's something not right about the gold rally here. And unfortunately, the right or wrongness basically falls in line with the idea of stocks as the ultimate leading indicator in any particular sector. I mean, who better to know the fate of the underlying commodity price than the companies that are involved in the space? So we actually looked at a bunch of oil stocks this morning, and they're still pointing up, the sons of guns. And I put a funny message in the lounge this morning, and we'll talk lots about this in a moment. But I was able to pick up on some oil stocks, and if the oil market is not a bull, then this shouldn't be happening. I mean, that's a pretty damn nice day, eh? And even the big oil stocks, I was actually expecting them to roll over, but things like Halliburton are actually moving up here. So that leads me to believe that there are legs in this oil rally. But if we actually look at the gold and the gold stocks, we don't see the same message. If I look at the gold stocks themselves, risk on, risk off, the gold's had one hell of an up day here. Interesting to see how the yen and even the bonds to a certain degree are calming down here a bit. So again, how much of this gold rally can we believe here? But when I look at the gold stocks in particular, what's going on here? This isn't a bull market. I was actually musing through the broadcast here today. We might actually get an outside downside reversal here on Barrick. I mean, it's encouraging to see higher highs and higher lows do define a bull market, but then we look at something like Newmont, what the heck's going on here? So, and then we look at the actual gold stock index, what the heck's going on here? So this is the exact opposite to that oil scenario. The gold stocks are actually looking a bit heavy here. So, I can't really go in on the long side on gold here right now. And I thought it was really interesting to see that we actually had some of our, metal OGs. Julian's just trading up a storm here in gold lately, and he actually was saying that he was hunting shorts up here, which I found fascinating. I mean, no doubt about it, it's been a hell of a run up here. But, what scares me now is this is actually what's called like a shooting star. So we'll see how this day ends. You can see internally, she had a hell of a head of steam behind her. I mean, RSI right now at 83. RSI does not like to get overbought. So that in itself is a bit of a warning sign. Interesting here, you can actually see my Williams percentage R. Not only is he stupidly overbought, but the actual raw indicator is actually in divergence here. So, again, can't chase this. I mean, it was a hell of a rally. Gave lots of props and kudos to people that did take the W's off of these trendline breaks down here. And you should be getting paid on this move. But coming in on the buy side here, that doesn't make sense to me. If anything, maybe, let's look for a nice little pullback into reload zones, that kind of idea. If we're interested in buying some new gold or gold names right now. So, I mean, it's great to see the gold as strong as it is, and we were kind of musing about how powerful this move was going to be. It's interesting, the bonds, we had drawn these trendline resistance levels, and you can see a doink. It's like the bonds just ran into like a brick wall there. Individual stocks, there's lots of very uppies. I didn't actually even change the screen just because these are such good looking stocks. But there's a whole bunch of them breaking out. In fact, actually, crypto names look really interesting in here. Maybe I'll do that tomorrow. But the reason why I didn't put them on here is because we got lots to talk about in crypto in a bit here. And I got to give props to the Duke of Berkey, the Kavarkinator of Kavarkinators. I mean, we're just building some just incredible stock traders here, people. But this was Kevin's idea here recently. I couldn't sneak in on this, but as you can see, he's feeling pretty good about himself today here. So congratulations, Kevin. Great pick, great stock. And you can see, I mean, just hunt these W's, people. I mean, it's just sick. And we're in the kind of environment, especially if we go into some sort of insane blow-off top here through 2020 into this U.S. election. We're in the type of environment, make hay while the sun shines. That's what my old broker buddies used to always say. We're in the type of environment where this kind of profit kind of scenario is very realistic here. So get out there and enjoy the bull market. Now, speaking of bull markets, hey, what the hell is going on with the corn? We've talked lots about trend lines, how we really are best served to wait for W's on the other side of trend lines. And I got to say, the corn's putting in one hell of a fight here. Cute little W now coming in on OBV. This happens to be Coinbase. We actually have a confirmed RSI momentum divergence. You don't get that every day, folks. And now we're getting a second W on the RSI through the 50 line. You don't get that every day, folks. So it's very encouraging to see the price action out of the corn here recently. I find it, and even on the daily briefs with the site people, I find it absolutely fascinating how the market came down into this mountain man ABCD level. And I even said when this happened, you got to have balls o' steel to take this trade. Actually, it's interesting seeing this divergence in RSI. I suppose you could have said, what are my reasons? Higher time frame reload zones, reload zone within a reload zone. So you got location. You've got the RSI that's telling you, hey, this price is actually a lot stronger than what price is leading you to believe. Now all you need is some sort of structure. And the crappy part about this is it didn't give us much in the way of structure. This was a very, very difficult trade. But nonetheless, it is what it is. And boom, right back up. Now, the interesting thing is kind of like what I've been doing on the broiler chicken shows recently. Think of that na kind of concept. So we rally up into reload short zones, and it shouldn't surprise us that we're running into just a lot of selling pressure up here. But at the same time, too, they say, a market that can't go down when it should go down, what's it going to do when it should go up? And I'm getting the impression here that this guy, and I even put a tweet out to this effect, that where was it here? I had said right here, I think this is a great example. This is EOS, right? I just said, doesn't it just feel like, people want to dump this thing? They want the market to go down. They want to push it lower, and it just won't go any lower. And I think this is a good example where, they just keep pressing this thing. Go down, damn you, go down. And it's fighting like the Dickens here. Na levels, right? This, I think, is a really interesting place to take a shot on crypto. I got to tell you, folks. Somebody write that down. And especially, too, and actually this isn't the best one, but especially, too, with Shane's, where the hell did I put that? Shane's Saturn-Pluto cross. Because technically this is supposed to be about changing paradigms. So how utterly perfect that this change in paradigm, it marks basically the bottom in crypto. I mean, it almost seems poetic. Mark these days, people. This is historic times we're living in. So, it's interesting to watch the corn. The problem with the corn here is that, and I think it makes sense, is that I could very easily see a nice juicy rally up into things like 61.8, 8,900, that kind of idea. The fractal here fires up to the top of value. You can see the bottom in things like RSI and OBV and stuff. I can see it coming. The problem is this enough of a profit window for me to actually justify a trade? And that's the tough one. Because even right now when I go, let's say I'm going to buy this W and I'm going to risk to the bottom of the W, And I'm going to take profits, and I'll even be aggressive and use, say, 61.8. That only produces a 1-to-1 risk reward. That's tough. So where are the opportunities? I mean, I don't mind the idea down the road that we're going to revisit 10,000. In fact, I could actually realistically see 11, 12,000. That really wouldn't surprise me. But, just be forewarned, off of shorter time frames. We do have these bearish divergences working on things like MACD. And what we've sort of counseled on the site today through our CTO, Sjord, did his presentation today. He had sort of counseled that, yeah, I'm kind of thinking we could push up, but get ready because all of his models say that once this push up is exhausted, he's going to be very aggressive hunting short setups. So, take it for whatever it's worth. I kind of think there's an idea that we push up through 7,400 or change, that kind of idea. Maybe pop up to 81, 82. Could you buy on a stop? We talked about the trade was down here at Mountain, which was just a sick level. This is coming pretty late to the trade. But one thing I do like is, and I don't know whether I still have it. I might have gotten rid of it. Maybe I'll save that for another day. Maybe I'll save that. I'm just going to leave it at this right now. We're simply right up in a level that if we do break out, look for a pop on the corn. And I'll talk to you a little bit more and maybe videos down the road about how I'm trying to approach this, because I actually think this is what we call an LJ setup, which actually sets up a much higher price objective. And I think I put a tweet out to that effect here this morning. Where the hell was that? This right here. So I'm, especially over the next couple quarters, especially heading into halving events, all that kind of stuff, I actually think we could take a nice stab up top here. But over the short term here, I could see a little bit of gains. You could just buy this on a stop and risk the W, but if you're going to do that, you got to shoot for, you got to get paid for taking that risk. So just be forewarned. We could get a nice little pop up here, then a dump back down against these lows. So the traders are probably going to be buy on stop long, then go short, then be hunting longs. And the position traders, I think, actually can buy this double bottom, risk against these lows. You could easily get stopped out. It's a trader's life. But ultimately looking for that, 11,000 all the way up to 12,000 into sort of happening event kind of rally windows. So that's sort of what I'm seeing on the corn. Really interesting developments here. And really what I wanted to point out was I actually think kind of like stocks. Are there opportunities to double your money on the S&P 500 buying it? I don't think so. But individual smaller names in the stock market, could you double your money? Absolutely. And you can see Mr. Kavarkanator has done this just even as we've been speaking over this over the past week. And I've been like, God damn it, I can't get into this. And God damn it. And then you missed the trade. So are there any opportunities in crypto? And actually, I put out a tweet to this because I thought this was hilarious. You just don't see this every day. And now all the public people have to actually go in and type a swear word into their browsers to actually get the symbol. How beautifully millennial. But this is a great, look at this consolidation. And look at all these, M's getting broken, W breakouts, breaking down trend lines, up trend lines, working away, validating now. W's through 50 lines. Oh my goodness. This is ridiculous. Pay attention, folks. I'm telling you. And, interesting, I think Ethereum, you could make the argument that, unlike Bitcoin, this is just, this is that same trade. And, that would be implying Bitcoin, 11, 12,000. Interesting, this one here. And I think I've talked to you guys about this, right? Just basically buying on a stop through the breakout through the top there. And just risking against the lows. Gee whiz. I hate when I mess that up. And then looking for 50% levels. Come on, you. There we go. That produces almost a 6-to-1, 5.86 to 1. Now that's what I'm talking about. So, full disclosure, this is definitely TRISOF material with that kind of risk reward. So we're in there buying the call options. Hopefully, into that halving event rally, we'll be banging out doubles and establishing free positions on that kind of trade. I'm a super fan of this coin Mona. Hopefully everybody can see right down at the bottom end of the range, and gee whiz, what letter of the alphabet is it? So, hopefully you understand. And actually, I did actually buy some Mona versus Bitcoin. Chart looks even better over the weekend. So I am in there buying. So that's two cryptocurrencies that I've actually taken positions on. And we do have an account over at MEX, to be perfectly honest, or not at this FTX. We have it over at MEX. Maybe I'll move some coin over from there, but I got to tell you, I'm really liking the look of this. Man, I really like shit right now. It's terrible to say. I know, I'm sorry. But the point of the matter here is what I really like about this is if you actually look at all these tails, right? Somebody took the market down and then ran out of sellers and boom, right back. Then right back down against these lows and then boom, right back. And then right back down against these lows and then boom, right back. And then this one isn't the best one, but I really like this. Nice railroad tracks, and I like these firm low closes here. Super sexy. So I got to tell you, man, I really like shit right now. And that's basically, this is the internals of what RSI looks like through that battle. Again, it looks to me like the bull is trying to wake up here. So very, very encouraged by what I'm seeing out of crypto, and it makes sense. This is actually another thing that I think makes a lot of logical sense, and I guess I'll leave the video off at this. This was the end of last year, right? 2018, 2019. What does that bottom look like? And gee whiz, here is the end of 2019. What does that bottom look like? I won't go through, through the daily brief. I walk through all of this for site peeps. But I think that this chart and this study is actually speaking to us again. So it's another encouraging sign. I really like the look of the altcoin space right now. So. Okay, everybody, I think I'll leave the free video at that. Hope you got some value. Hopefully I gave you some ideas. Remember, not recommendations. I don't care if you buy anything that I buy. I'm spending my money. I'm not spending yours. Work with your financial advisor. Work with your trading plan, for heaven's sakes. If you need help building that plan, of course, that's what our whole school is all about. And FYI, new school term starts here pretty much the end of this week, beginning of next week. So if you're sitting on the fence, you better get moving. All right, everybody, have yourselves a great day. All the best. And the only thing left for good old Brian to say here is bye for now.